Action.
Hello, Rain Car Wash team members. Jacob here to talk a little bit about the alpha position. The alpha position describes the leader during the shift. This is the person that provides 360 site support throughout the shift and provides direct coaching to all the team members on shift. This person is a leadership position, right? So this person is going to provide continuous coaching and direction to team members throughout the shift. And how they're going to do that is they're going to first direct people's attention to the checklists. So we have opening, closing checklists. We have the hourly checklist. We have the daily cleaning checklist. These checklists are super important because they navigate our entire day. It tells us what we've done to prep all of the equipment for the day and how we're continuously cleaning the equipment to make it operate at its very best. And some of those things I'll expand upon as we get out into the wash tunnel. But it's really the alpha's job to talk to the team members about what needs to be done on shift so that we have a clean shift turnover or also a close to the end of the day.
Yeah, I would just add to that, Jacob, that, we like to say the checklists are really the roadmap to success, right? I mean, we thought about all the things that need to happen on a given shift, on a given day, in a given week to make sure that all the duties that need to be carried out to keep our facility tip-top shape are taken care of. So the checklists, as you just mentioned, are a critical part, and the alpha can use those in addition to other team members, but the alpha can use them as a method of communicating all the things that need to get done throughout the shift.
Right on. So, the alpha is the leader of the shift. They're directing workflow, as you said. And also, they're the person that's responsible for handling any type of in-person dispute. So if we have a customer that comes in that's got a question, maybe they've got, they want to know about wash packages. Maybe they got charged twice for a wash, something like that. It's the job of the alpha to take control of that situation and make sure that the point position that we described earlier in another video stays on point. We want to make sure that the point person is always attending to people in the pay lanes. So that's a really important job for the alpha. As we talk on the headsets throughout the day, if we've got somebody that's walking into the office or maybe we've got a customer that needs help, it's the alpha's job to go and intercept that customer.
Jake, if I can just add to that again, so that the point, as you said, and the boss, the tunnel boss, can continue to do their jobs. And it's really the job of the alpha to handle those kinds of things that you just referenced, whether it's a guest inquiry or a potential damage claim, so that the point and the boss can continue to do their jobs. Because if they can't do their jobs, we can't process vehicles, we can't wash vehicles, we end up with long lines and dissatisfied guests. So very important role they have in kind of handling those other tasks, right?
Absolutely. A critical piece to the alpha position is not only driving the workflow through the use of the team members, but also making sure that all of the equipment is operating correctly. It's on our hourly checklist to walk the wash, but we're really entrusting the alpha to make sure that all of our equipment and chemical applicators are working properly throughout the course of the wash. So one of the things that we're going to do, and we're going to do this at a very high level, but we're going to walk out into the wash and we're going to demonstrate what we're talking about. As cars are being loaded onto the belt and they're starting to receive the cleaning and the applications, we as the alpha are making sure that all the equipment is spinning correctly. We're making sure the chemicals are reaching all the areas of the vehicle. And when necessary, if there is a problem, making a repair. So I think I've got a car coming around right now and we'll watch the wash process. So we're going to head out into the tunnel.
Jake, maybe while you do that, you'll talk about the fact that the best way to watch a wash is to make sure we understand what wash package was purchased. So, for example, if there's wheel and tire or if there's buff and shine, you're going to know if it's a Rainmaker wash and buff and shine didn't fire off, well, clearly there's a problem with buff and shine, correct?
Absolutely, and a great point, Ari, because we've got a Rain Elite. It's our $22 wash. So we've got a lot of things happening in this wash. We've got wheel and tire, we've got triple foam, we've got hot wax, we've got Vision Max. So this is a really great wash. So really walking a wash means, you know what's being ordered, right? And in this case, it's an Elite. And then you're watching all of the critical applications. I'll give you a demonstration This is our wheel and tire cleaner right here. This particular manifold applicator sprays highly concentrated solution on the rim of the vehicle. So I know this car right now is about to get that product, and we'll see it just here in a moment. All right, so not only am I looking to see if it's working properly, but I'm looking to see, like, am I getting good coverage and application? All right, so I see a nice coating on the tire there. Looks really good. And I want to make sure it hits the back tire as well. And as the Alpha, I'm happy with that, right? So now I'm gonna work down the wash. I can see the triple foam is being applied. I can see all three foamers hitting the vehicle as they should. And as I'm watching the wash, and you may have to do this a couple of times to see every piece of equipment, but I'm making sure everything is rotating correctly. I don't have any friction or shaking on the wraps. I'm looking to make sure that everything is operating normally.
I want to add something here, Jacob, because on occasion, right, if retracts get put in place or an e-stop gets hit for wraps, sometimes on occasion we forget to reset the e-stop.
Great point.
And you want to make sure the wraps are actually wrapping around the front and rear of the vehicle, right? That the wheel blasters are working and that they're appropriately spinning, right? Keep going.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if we have e-stops pushed in, we're going to lose cleaning power, and we're going to ultimately have dissatisfied customers. Again, I'm looking at all the equipment. I'm looking at the mitter curtain, the wraps. I'm looking at the hot wax. Is it coming out of the tray correctly? Now I'm down here. I'm looking at the rain bar. Am I getting a good rinse on the vehicle? I've got quick brake coming out here. Is it hitting the entire vehicle? I've got Vision Max hitting the car right now. Is it reaching the entire windshield? These are all critical questions I'm asking myself. I'm going to spare everybody the drying room, but you should also be watching the drying room. Are we achieving a very dry vehicle? Is tire shine being applied correctly? Does the tire shine equipment look good? These are all questions that you're going to answer by doing your wash log. And it's important that, as Ari said, talk to the tunnel boss and ask them, okay, what car did you just put on? A rim maker? Okay, great, I'm going to check out ceramic. These are things that you do throughout the shift to make sure that our equipment is working as it should.
And I think as you mentioned, Jacob, you know, for example, if it's an elite wash, you know it's going to have tire shine. If tire shine doesn't fire off, we need to be aware of that. Likewise, especially with equipment like tire shine, we want to make sure the chemical is actually dispensing on both driver side and passenger side, and that equipment is appropriately engaging on the tires of the vehicle, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, in the event that we have some type of equipment failure, we'll be able to spot it sooner and work to either fix it or disable it if necessary. These are things that we can absolutely achieve when we walk the wash. So that talks a little bit about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the other areas of the facility that we're going to walk. This is a very active role. When you are acting as the Alpha, you are walking the facility, you're talking to guests, but we're going to do just a quick walk, and we're going to look at the trash areas. I'm going to be looking for, do I have debris on the ground? I'm looking at, are all my hoses hung up properly? Do I have my air pressure guns docked properly? Right, so I might take this sticker off if I have a little more time, right? These are things that I'm keenly focused on because I want the presentation of the facility to look great. I want all of the equipment to operate as it should.
Yeah, is trash overflowing, making sure it's not, for example, right?
Absolutely. We got the mat washers coming up here. Is there anything stuck in the mat washers? Do they appear to be running properly? Say hi to guests. Hello, how are you?
Talk about the towel program, if you would, Jacob.
Yep, we don't have it out right now, but we will be bringing back the complimentary towel program. You'll have baskets here. You'll have towel return baskets around the facility. That's your opportunity to make sure that the towel bar, so to speak, is fully stocked, and that we remove any of the used towels from those bins. And again, I'm surveying the facility. I'm looking for people that have questions, concerns. I'm looking for debris on the ground. I'm looking at the vacuums. If you do this often, the vacuum area is going to stay cleaner longer, and your guests are going to be more satisfied with this particular area.
Jacob, let me make another point here, which for the Alpha, right? They're an active team member when there may be only 3 team members on staff, right? The point is working the pay lanes, the tunnel boss is loading vehicles. The Alpha, if they are the remaining team member on staff, is really going to be responsible for making sure this vacuum area, as you just described, the parking area, the grass and landscaped areas are clean, trash isn't overflowing, and then again, dealing with guest issues, watching washes and so on. If you happen to have a 4th team member on, which often will be the case on busy days, the Alpha will be fulfilling the duties we just talked about, but also asking that additional team member to be out here in the vacuum area, dealing with rubbish removal, making sure the parking areas are clean, right? Helping to refill prep buckets, etc. So it really is like a quarterback's position, not just doing, a lot of times doing, but also helping to direct the workflow for the various positions in the facility, correct?
Absolutely, well said. Directing and assisting as needed. The next area that we're going to walk is the maintenance room, so we're going to sneak in here. Okay, so the Alpha's going to have responsibility for this back room area. We want to make sure that all of our equipment, again, is functioning properly. There's a couple of items that I'll draw to people's attention. Chemical barrels. We want to always make sure that we have plenty of chemical. We've got the chemical panel right here. We have it on our checklist to make sure that these chemical panels are always clean and running properly. So all the chemicals are being pulled through the chemical panel and being dispensed out there in the wash. Also, compressor. We don't talk about the compressor enough. Making sure the compressor looks good. You can see the belts in there. Making sure there's no oil leaks or anything dripping from here. We want to make sure that we're holding good pressure. This is a critical thing. If you lose the air compressor, it's game over. So we need to be watching this. We need to be looking at our RO system. You know, unless we're doing deep maintenance, we're just looking for leaks. Are we losing water anywhere? In this case, no. We got a nice dry floor. I'm looking out on my chemical barrels as well, making sure, do I need to change something soon? Do I have enough chemical to last me the weekend? Do I need to swap a barrel out? So we're looking at all of those things, again, to make sure that our equipment is operating properly. I'll take a look into these, into our reclaim baskets, our pressurized water system here. I can hear it running. I see there's water in there. There's no water coming out of it. It looks like the system is running good. Again, I have opportunities to look at the wash. I'm going to look at the small equipment room. Again, I'm looking for the same thing. Leaks, any type of equipment failure. We've got another pressurized water system in here. I can see it's filled with water. The float valve is at a good level. Taking a look around. I don't see any leaks to the system. Again, if you have a leak or an equipment failure, you're doing these walks, you're going to identify them quickly, and you'll be able to remediate them quickly. The last area, and I don't know if we want to mention it, but we have the reclaim system area. So I'll spare it. I don't think we need to, but also we'll go to the reclaim closet to do a maintenance check there, make sure all the equipment is operating normally, we don't have any leaks. And then lastly, we'll come outside.
I mean, I think one thing you're demonstrating here, Jacob, as well, is that just in this video, if you see a vehicle with bird droppings and you happen to be walking by in that alpha position, you're assisting, right? Just like whenever you're walking the tunnel, you're watching the wash, even if it's not an official, full watch of a wash, you're still looking at all times kind of head on a swivel, right?
Yeah, and that's the note that I want to close on with the Alpha. It's a leadership position, but it's also a service position as well. if we get overwhelmed and we have a lot of cars that we need to process, the Alpha can act as an expediter. They can act as the wingman. We used to have the wingman position. We no longer have that, but they can act as a second set of eyes to the tunnel boss to allow cars to process a little quicker. Or if they need to help out the point person because there's a lot of people jammed at the pay lanes. The Alpha pretty much can go anywhere and do anything, but they do need to go through a specific set checklist to make sure that all of our equipment, again, is operating normally, all the team members are properly supported, and they're receiving direction on all the checklists. I think that pretty much covers it. Is there any?
Yeah. I think you've covered it.
All right. Again, the Alpha is probably the most important position inside the wash. It is a leadership position. We have to make sure that we're taking care of our facility. That way customers get what they need. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make it rain. Thank you.